I am Lightning Gamer, and we are here trying something new. I love the Marvel superhero movies. I immerse myself in the comic lore and history of the characters and storylines. A lot of you may not know it, but I am a writer, and I love creating stories myself, so I decided to start a new series that takes a step away from games. Don't worry, this new series isn't going to dominate my channel. In the series, I will talk about what I want in upcoming movies, how I would have written one that already came out, or I'll even have reviews. Maybe I will come out with more, but who knows. But don't worry, this will not dominate my channel. This is just a thing that will come out every once in a while. Either way, I'd like to introduce this series with what I'd like to see in Ant-Man. Ant-Man is perhaps the least known of the most popular superheroes in Marvel. He is also one of the most overlooked. His powers are a bit more dumb compared to a Thunder God or a raging green guy with anger problems. That's why we need to focus more on emotional aspects of the man behind the mask. The comics did this with all three Ant-Men, so the movie should flesh them out too. This movie should ultimately be about redemption. The comic where Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man, passed down his suit to Scott Lang, the movie's Ant-Man, was huge symbolically. We need to not only give a great emotional scale to Scott Lang, but Hank Pym as well. The Ant-Man movie and its characters are coming in pretty late in the whole scope of Marvel's movies, so we need this movie to carry drama and give us feelings for the characters. Next up is a need for me. It is pretty much like the first want, but it focuses specifically on Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man. See, in the comics, Hank Pym was always going through some kind of internal struggle. He went through a depression, and he had multiple issues, but he still managed to be a hero, although not a very big hero, no pun intended. And he knew this. Hank Pym didn't feel as strong or as important compared to the other Avengers, so he frequently changed his superhero identity, going from Ant-Man, Giant Man, not Giant Man, Goliath, Yellow Jacket, and even taking his wife's name of the Wasp when he thought she was killed in a whole other story. Hank Pym has so much that the movie could work with. Pym and his wife Janet went through so much together. She stayed with him even through his hard times. Pym has one of the most tragic histories in Marvel. He even hit his own wife while in a crazed frenzy. He wanted to go out and help the other heroes. He wanted to prove himself. Janet knew something was wrong, so she didn't let him in fear for his safety. And more specifically, he got in trouble. He was going to get a court-martial, so he wanted to show them that he was great and he wanted to prove himself. So he made this little Ultron knockoff that was a little robot, not as strong as Ultron or whatever, and he wanted it to attack during the court-martial. And then he wanted to save the day, and Janet found this out, and then she was like, no, dude, you can't do that. And he just straight up, yeah, not good. So, yeah, with that, Hank tried making up for everything he has done over the years. This movie should capitalize on that. This movie needs to be Hank Pym's redemption, as well as Scott Lang's, but Hank Pym, you know he's going to be a bigger part of this movie. Next up is another similar one. I went to see the past, back when Hank Pym was Ant-Man. Through flashbacks or something, gave a small nod to whom Hank Pym was. The movie has already stated that he was a superhero in the 60s, but is no longer. Like the comics, they could write it so that Pym gave up the mantle of being a hero because he knew he wasn't ready to be one. Also, I'm just throwing out there that there could be a deeper meaning to why he gave up being a hero. As we can see, Hank and Janet's daughter is in the movie, so they obviously were together. But Janet is nowhere to be seen. It would be different than the comics, but maybe he gave up being a hero because the villain was too much for him. And he lost his partner/wife, the Wasp, /Janet, in a battle. However, that is a stretch. We just need to see Pym as Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for her to die, but that would be a more emotional death in there. Next up is that we need to have a good villain. The baddie in this movie is a bit strange. His name is Yellow Jacket, and if you've been paying attention, you will notice that Pym once called himself by that name. One of his many superhero aliases. Marvel seems to have completely made up this villain, and many have speculated that it reminds them of Iron Man 1's villain. Yellow Jacket needs to make an impact on us. It might be hard if you were trying to make a redemption story of both Pym and Lang and bring up their past, but the movie still has to show us why this villain is a bad guy. We have to have this connection, and not just an evil businessman, but an actual son of a bee. Because his name is Yellow Jacket. Next, we need to have connections to the rest of the Marvel movies. For me, it's hard to see this Ant-Man movie with the Avengers. It's hard to see Ant-Man with the Avengers. I'm excited for it, but it's just hard. Give us connections. They pretty much flushed Ultron down the toilet for a connection to Pym. I'm stumbling over my words. Oh yeah, did I mention that Hank Pym accidentally made Ultron in the comics? More on that if you're interested. Just Hank Pym created Ultron in the comics. They also could give a small tribute to Hank Pym as a founder of the Avengers. It'd say they came up with the Avengers initiative that Nick Fury first came to Tony Stark about in Iron Man 1. Because Hank Pym, I'm pretty sure he is one of the founding members of the Avengers in the comics. I don't know if they said he had like some kind of idea about it even before then. But he needs to have some kind of nod as being a founder, because he's a big part of it. And Janet too. She was a big part of it too. Alright, least importantly, we need to see connections to Civil War. Captain America 3. Civil War is going to be the biggest Marvel movie until Infinity War, in my opinion. The comic is perhaps the biggest story written by Marvel. We need to see what Scott Lang's part will be in the Civil War. We need to know his personality so we have an idea about what side he will be on. There's been reports that Ant-Man will be on Tony Stark's side in Civil War. It makes sense because Hank Pym, as Yellow Jacket at the time, was one of the big three geniuses, scientist guys on the side of Tony Stark. He was like one of the big three in charge, making all the plans and stuff like that. But that was Hank Pym. But as I see it, Scott Lang has a secret identity. That's one more thing. Do not give away Scott Lang's identity. We need a hero that has a secret identity, okay? Scott Lang has a secret identity, and he has a daughter. Would he be so eager to tell everyone, including villains, that he is Ant-Man, making himself a target? That was like the main arguing point for the anti-registration or Captain America side in the Civil War comic. This point is smaller than the rest, but with Civil War being the next Marvel movie coming out, we need to see something that has to do with Civil War, or we will be smacked in the face by it when it comes out. Marvel should start setting up now so we ease into it. Now, that doesn't mean that it was like during Ant-Man movie you hear, oh, Civil War is going on. No, it's like just see that sides are beginning to form and there's an issue conflict coming up. Like, oh, there's a death or whatever. There's people going on and all of that junk. Civil War is a big event, and it's hard to believe they are doing it in one movie. However, it can be pulled off if they plan and execute it very, very carefully. Well, I'm going to leave this video off here. If you want me to make another video on or about a specific comic, movie, or superhero, just comment below, leave a like if you enjoyed, and want more. And subscribe for more if you want more. Yeah. Thanks guys for watching. Lighted Gaber out.